This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined. It's been a while, even though we only do one interview a year. Boxing Social Streets remember. It's Josh Pritchard, JP, the Punisher, serious member of Team McGuigan. First and foremost, Josh, congratulations. Part of the winning team tonight for not one, but two, but three, and a new world champion at McGuigan's Gym in Lawrence, Okolie. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, mate. Nice to speak to you again. Great night tonight. Full clean sheet tonight. 3 out of 3. So, would have been 3 stoppages, but CBS let the team down. No, it was a great night for us from the McGuigan Gym. So, just another world champion for Shane and the boys, and for me that was by far the best performance. Sat there ringside, it was so clinical. It was so easy for him to pick up a world title like that. It's scary. It's the first of many, and he's going to go on and win many more titles, hopefully in a different division as well.
Let's talk about Lawrence Okolie, the new WBO cruiserweight champion. Emphatic 6th-round stoppage win over Glowacki. We've never seen that happen to him before. Admittedly, he got caught like an elbow and a drop kick or whatever from Iris Bradis in their sort of boxing/MMA fight they had in the World Boxing Super Series. But a clinical performance, as you say, from Lawrence Okolie, and again finished with that trademark right hand.
Yeah, do you know what? He does that every day in the gym. Like Lawrence is. When you watch him spar, I'm really pleased that he's able to show everyone what he does in the gym every day, because he's had so much stick, so much hate for a few years now, for some old performances, and some of them granted a little bit of stick, but do you know what? Like he really puts the work in the gym, and that is exactly how he spars, just clinical from the front hand, and it's great to watch. And I'm just really pleased that he's able to do it in the ring tonight, under the pressure as well, under lights in a world title fight. So, he's it was, like I said, it was very clinical. For me, it was a punch perfect performance, and I'd like to see him move on, maybe fight Bradis or something like that. I'd love to see him unified division. That'd be brilliant. But we'll have to see what Eddie wants to do.
Now, you mentioned the stick and the abuse that he's had over his holding and his clinching. Had him on the podcast a few weeks ago. He said that you've been one of the main people for that, one of the main perpetrators for that in the gym, all in jest, might I add. But talk to us about the development from Lawrence as he's come into the gym. He came into the gym, he did have the reputation, and still in the build-up to this fight, as soon, as recently as a few hours ago, people calling him a spoiler, a hugger. How difficult has it been, and talk to us about the kind of the progression and the journey of getting that out of him and what we ultimately have now?
He gets a lot of stick in the gym, I'll be honest. But no, I think he's always going to get a bit of stick, but it's going to take a good few performances to really shove that to one side. But he will do it, and I think he showed in the last two performances what he's capable of. And he's very clinical. Like when he wants to be, do you know what I mean? He's getting better and better. He's at the end of the day, I think he said that was his 42nd contest, amateur and pro. So he's still a novice. Do you know what I mean? Like some lads, they have 200-300 amateur fights, then they go pro. Do you know what I mean? But Lawrence he's a novice, and he's achieved so much in a short amount of time, and it's scary. What's he going to be like after another 10 pro fights under Shane? He's developing so quick, and it's great to see.
He said to me in our post-fight interview that he asked you before he went out why he wasn't feeling nervous. Is it okay for him to not to feel nervous before the biggest fight of his life? What does that say about the character of the man, that he's so cool and calm before such a massive fight, and he's able to execute after that? Yeah,
he was sat on the chair in the change rooms. I was putting a bit of Vaz on his face, and he was like, "Is it okay that I'm not nervous yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, just make sure you're sharp." But no, that's the first for me. I've not been around someone who's not been nervous in any sort of fight, let alone on the world stage like that. But he's definitely a special type of character to not sort of have any nerves. He takes everything in his stride. We all know that he's a big character, and it's nice to see that side's coming out now. But he just takes everything in his stride. You know, obviously he's got lots of different things going on now as well as the boxing, and he just nothing seems to faze him. He's like uber confident in himself, and he just believes. And I think tonight he thought it was destiny that he was going to do it, and he had no care in the world, mate. He just went and done what he does every single day in the gym, and that's why he weren't nervous.
One of the most impressive facets of his performance, certainly from my point of view, and the improvements that we've seen, is the jab. Now, the jab, conventionally not an easy shot to land on the southpaw. If you can land that on the southpaw, then you're really in business. How important was it, and how much was that drilled in preparation for this? Of course, this is kind of dragged on through no fault of anybody's. Obviously, Glowacki got COVID. Been a long training camp. How important was the jab in kind of unlocking the Glowacki puzzle?
Yeah, the jab was key tonight. You know, the game plan was to get the front hand going, have from the front hand, touch it, drill it hard, do what you want with it. You know, Glowacki wanted you to fall short with it, and then it'd come straight over the top, either the right hook or the left hand. So it was key for Lawrence not to fall in, which he didn't, which was great. Just jabbed to his hand and slid a few hard ones through, which was great. But Lawrence has got a great jab, and it's just taken a little while for it to come out. You know, Shane's been working hard with him in the gym with the jab. You know, he had a few little issues with his right hand after the last fight, so it was maybe a little God blessing. You know, that he was able to just solely work on the left hand for a few weeks. But he's dangerous in both hands. He can knock someone out in either hand, and that's amazing to have.
Always been speaking, well, certainly this week, about kind of developing the rest of his game. We all know about the right hand. It's been a major factor in his career so far. Speaking about kind of quickening up the feet, working on the jab, working on the hook, working on movement. But ultimately, it was the right hand that got the job done tonight. Just how serious a shot is that right hand?
Lawrence is freakishly heavy-handed. Like, let's be honest, he's a heavyweight balled down the cruiser. He has heavyweight power, genuinely world-class power, as we see tonight. You know, he'll put someone to sleep with either hand, and tonight he showed that against someone who's a genuine world-class fighter, and he's the right hand's great, and the right hand will be a great shot for ages, but the left hand is now, which is opening up for the right hand to come. But yeah, like I said, the left hand he'll knock anyone out with as well.
The man behind you, Anthony Fowler. Can we get him in shot? Yeah, we can. We can't see his face, but that's okay. No problem. The machine looked like a well-oiled machine tonight. Again, we saw last time out against Adam Harper some improvements there. This was a different level of opponent in Jorge Fortea, and we again saw more developments and progression from Anthony Fowler. First and foremost, what did you make of his performance in a fight that a lot of people expected to go long?
Great performance, standout performance for me. Like, obviously Lawrence was amazing, but I thought Fowler.
Don't give Fowler any more of a big.
I don't need it. Can I just say as well? You say oiled machine there. I've got a great sponsorship idea for him. WD-40. I feel like it's perfect. Nice can of WD-40. I'm sure it's brilliant.
I thought there was a CBD oil gag coming in there.
We've had enough of CBD. He's got CBD everywhere. No, it was a great performance by Fowler. Really good performance. Fowler, again, is making loads of improvements in the gym. Fowler is a great fighter anyway, and he has had all the experience you need in the amateurs. So he just needs to crack on with his career. I know that he wants to have the Fitzgerald and sort of the domestic, sort of the British and that, but I would much rather just him crack on, get the European, and move on with his career, because he's more than good enough to do that. But as a development, yeah, Fowler's coming on leaps and bounds under Shane. He's always had a great jab, didn't use it enough, a few fights ago, but now he's back on the jab. He's sort of changed his style a little bit now, but he's throwing that jab, and as we all know, he's extremely heavy-handed. and he's going to be a serious force in that division.
Raised a few eyebrows when he initially went to Shane. Even myself, it took me somewhat by surprise. But again, what would you make of his progress under Shane? We saw a little bit of it last time out. I think we can all agree that the Tete fight wasn't really much of a yardstick for him. But the Adam Harper fight and now this fight, he's really showing, as you say, those progression and coming on leaps and bounds.
Fowler's improving, and I think he will go on improve with every fight. I think that before this type of opponent would have been a hard night's work for Fowler. You know, he got hit with a decent shot as well. I think it was in the second round, little right hand, and that could have caused potential problems, but it didn't. He, collected himself well, and he got back under the jab. And again, the second one in a row, he's dropped someone with a jab, which is brilliant because the jab is like a right hand. But yeah, I think he'll go on and improve every time, and this fight will give him a lot of confidence because this is, like Fowler said, a good European level fighter. And I think this is exactly what he needed. I think that whoever he gets after this, he'll show more improvements, just like he's doing every day in the gym.
So those are the two stoppages. Now moving on to the disappointing Chris Billam-Smith going the distance. Shame on him ruining the vibe for the evening. But no, on a serious note, everybody, well, I say everybody, I think if people kind of followed the sport, follow Vasyl Dukar's record up until now, we're aware of what a tough fight that could be. And while Chris boxed well, it was a tough fight in there for him.
It was a tough fight. CBS loves taking a few shots that he shouldn't. He always says, "Do you think I took any shots?" I don't think I took. No, you did, mate. Look at your face. Like he does. For some reason, he doesn't know he takes any shots. But no, CBS is very skillful. He can box. He loves to have a fight, as we all know that. But that was a tough test for him tonight. I thought it was brilliant to get the rounds in. I would have liked to have seen maybe a stoppage, just for his sake, because he would have loved that because he's not been stopped before. But in the long run, that would have been great for him to get the 10 rounds out. And with a tough opponent as well, a live opponent. So CBS will learn loads from that, and I'm sure we'll get back to the knockout record in the next fight.
Week and a half's notice is never ideal, but particularly when you're going against somebody like Vasyl Dukar, who is very tough, very rugged. We've seen him in against Egorov, we've seen him in against Pesar. He's a really tough man. Now that's out of the way, not too many miles on the clock, although arguably a few more than we would have liked to. Where next for him? Kind of similar to Anthony Fowler, really, where there's opportunities domestically, but also that European title fight with Tommy McCarthy, which is something that I know CBS wants and Shane McGuigan does.
Tom McCarthy, I'd love to see him get the European title shot. That'd be brilliant. I know that he would like to avenge the loss against Riakporhe, which I'm sure can happen, but maybe later on. I'd love to see him fight McCarthy. I think that'd be a great fight for him, very winnable fight for him as well. And he deserves it. He deserves all the success he gets. I would love to see him fight McCarthy next.
Final one on CBS. We've been speaking about it for seemingly years now. Well, it has actually been years, about bringing the show back down to Bournemouth, or bringing the show down to Bournemouth. Obviously, you're not from Bournemouth, but not from too far away. You're on the better seaside town of Southampton. Yes, please, everybody from Bournemouth. Portsmouth. Oh, no, I said Southampton.
I mean, that's what that is.
So do you know why? It's because I was speaking to Mia about 10 minutes ago. Mia, who's Chris Billam-Smith's wife, shout out Mia, and we were talking about bringing Southampton fighters over to Bournemouth. But you are, of course, from Portsmouth. Terrible from me there. It is late. I mean, we do interviews at like 2 o'clock in the morning every single time. I don't know what. We could have done this at like 10 or 11. Well, not 10 or 11 because Lawrence was fighting, but we could have done this at midnight, but we decided to wait until 2 because it is tradition. But anyway, moving on. You're not from Bournemouth. You're from Portsmouth. But how great would it be to bring a show down there? I know it's something that CBS has wanted, Jack Hillier as well. It would be great for the sport.
Yeah, CBS is dying for a show down in Bournemouth. I don't think there's been many boxing shows down in Bournemouth for many years, so he would love to bring Sky down, Matchroom down to Bournemouth. That would be great. Obviously, we had Lee, unfortunately took his first loss tonight, but he would love to box on there as well. Obviously, I've got my lads as well, Jack and Joseph. Jack is from Southampton. Not that I have a problem with Southampton at all, but he is from Southampton. But and Joseph, he's from Portsmouth. There's lots of local talent on the seaside, so we would love a Bournemouth show. And you know, if Chris gets a European title shot, brings it down to Bournemouth, that'd be brilliant. Like that would be fantastic. There's plenty of talent down there.
I was just about to move on to Jack Hillier and Joseph Butler, your two young charges. Let's start with Jack Hillier, the teen wolf, although he's not a teenager anymore, so he's just the wolf, and he doesn't have any facial hair, so maybe we need a new nickname for him, but he's the wolf until I give him a new nickname, because I gave him that one. How is Jack? Haven't seen him for a little while.
Jack's good. He's ticking over every day in the gym. So whether it's back home in Southampton with his amateur coach, Gary from Southampton ABC, or up in Kent with me. So it's, unfortunately for Jack and Joseph, it's a tricky situation with the COVID. They've been badly affected, just like thousands of boxers have been up and down the country. That they're in a terrible position really at the moment. You know, that unless we can get them on a show like this, which would be great, which, you know, we have had a couple of calls. Unfortunately, it's not come off, but we are looking to get out, especially with Jack on a show like this, and Joseph. So, but yeah, they're doing great. They're training away every day, but they're just dying for an opportunity to show what they're about.
How is Joseph? I see him enjoying married life. He looks like he's having himself a good old time down in Portsmouth.
What I need to do is I need to get him in Kent. I need to lock him in a room, take him to the gym, and go back to his room. That's what he needs to do. Joseph is a serious talent. He's a very, very good talent. And if he knuckles down, you know, obviously it's been a horrific time, so there's nothing been going on. But, you know, now it's kicking off, back in training, lock him away, and I think that he's going to surprise a lot of people. And, you know, these 50-50 fights, he would jump at, he would love to have, and he'll show a lot of people what he's about. He's a very, very good talent.
Final word on the boss, Shane McGuigan, somebody, of course, that you know well from your time as a fighter and now working with him as part of the training setup. It's a difficult one, really, because I was going to say, you know, he doesn't seek the adulation or the headlines, but he does love it. But he secretly loves it. What does the performances tonight from, I mean, obviously Anthony Fowler and Lawrence Okolie are kind of recent-ish additions to the gym, but CBS would be the first one to point out that he was a useless amateur and now he's making his life as a professional. How much credit does Shane McGuigan deserve for kind of, well, of course, adding his fourth world champion to his resume, to his ledger, and improving Anthony Fowler, Chris Billam-Smith and the rest of the guys in the gym?
Shane is fantastic at developing talent. He's brilliant. In my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but I think very rightly that he's definitely the best coach for me in the country, and he's arguably the best coach in the world. Sorry, like he's developed talents amazingly. He's able to break stuff down very well and go through it with all the boys, and he just brings them on leaps and bounds. As I said earlier, like he's just. The lads love him. You know, he's a taskmaster in the gym, but he has a laugh, and it's a great vibe in the gym. But they all get the work done, and you know, as much credit goes to Shane, which and rightly so, because he's amazing at what he does. You know, it's down to the boys as well to crack on and put the hard work in, which they all do. So you know, it takes two to tango. So the lads are putting the hard work in. But no, he's a fantastic coach, and I absolutely love working underneath him. I've learned so much in the past 7 years now under him. So from a boxer's point of view and from a coaching point of view. But no, Shane deserves all the credit he gets because you know this is fourth world champion, and you know there'll be many more, and I'm excited for the future.
And with that, we will finish off by talking about the future for yourself. As I mentioned at the start of the interview, this is one for the Boxing Social OGs. This is the streets remember Josh Pritchard on Boxing Social. What have you got next coming up? As you mentioned, it's been a disrupted period of time for everybody, not been ideal for anybody, but there does appear to be light at the end of the tunnel for people like Jack Hillier, like Joe Butler and countless other fighters. What does the rest of 2021 look like for yourself? Apart from gaining more muscle. Look at him, champ. Let's go, champ.
I have put on a lot of weight. I enjoyed,
Not as much as me.
No, in a different way, Rob. It's okay. I enjoyed the first lockdown. No, I want to get my boys out. I want them to get an opportunity on a show like this, on a platform like this. You know, we've seen loads of 50-50 fights over, you know, the last few months. And my boys are ready to jump in and mix it in with everyone. So hopefully some fights, a lot of activity with the boys. Shane's boys, all the boys, Lawrence, CBS, you know, Luke, Fowler. I want to see him back out. Yeah, I just want a bit busy year. I want to get back to normal. You know, it's obviously difficult with COVID, and everyone's have to adjust. But I think the board and the promotions are doing a fantastic job. But a bit of activity, mate. Just keep the ball rolling and plenty more shows and fights.
Okay, well, we usually get one in a year because of COVID. One of the many tragedies of COVID, of course, was us not getting our yearly interview in. The biggest, arguably the biggest tragedy of the COVID era was us not getting our interview in last year. So I'm glad we've done it. As I said, the streets, the boxing social streets, remember Josh the Punisher Pritchard. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Maybe we'll do 2 this year to make up for not getting one last year, but always a pleasure. Congratulations to yourself. I know, I mean, I talk tongue-in-cheek and like to take the piss out of you off camera, but I do know how much you bring to McGuigan's Gym, so enjoy it, and congratulations on another success for the gym, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for your time. Great seeing you in the bubble as well. It's been good.